I stood in the back of my little sister's wedding reception, holding a USB drive that would destroy her marriage in the next 5 minutes. 200 guests had no idea what was about to happen. My sister had no idea. Her brand new husband definitely had no idea, but I knew. And I'd been planning this moment for exactly 347 days. My name is Jasmine. I'm 39 years old. And the USB drive in my pocket? It contained 12 minutes. A video that would expose the darkest secret my sister thought she'd buried forever. See, everyone at that wedding thought they knew the love story. The fairy tale. How my sister and her husband met, fell in love, and were meant to be together. But I knew the real story. The one that started 2 years ago when my life fell apart. The one that involved lies, betrayal, and a secret so devastating that when I discovered it, I vomited for an hour straight. My sister thought I'd forgiven her, thought I'd moved on, thought inviting me to her wedding was a symbol of our no-healed relationship. She was wrong about all of it. But before I tell you what happened at that wedding reception, and trust me, you need to hear this, I need to ask you something. If you're watching this video, if you're already hooked on this story, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. We're trying to build this channel to 10,000 subscribers. We want to create the strongest community for women confessions on YouTube. A place where women's stories, the real ones, the raw ones, the ones nobody wants to talk about, get told without shame. Every subscription makes this channel stronger. Every like tells YouTube to show this to more women who need to hear it. So please right now subscribe, because what I'm about to tell you, it's going to make you angry. It's going to shock you. And by the end, you're going to understand exactly why I did what I did. Okay, now let's get into this. 3 years ago, my life was perfect. I had a successful career in marketing. I had a beautiful apartment. I had a fiancé named Derek, who I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. And I had my little sister, Kayla. Kayla was 4 years younger than me, and we were inseparable. I'm talking best friend level close. We talked every single day. We told each other everything. When she had her first heartbreak, I drove 2 hours to hold her while she cried. When I got promoted at work, she threw me a surprise party. Our parents always said we were lucky. Some sisters fight constantly. My mom would say, but you two? You're genuinely best friends, though. And we were, or at least I thought we were. When Derek proposed to me, romantic dinner, rose petals, the whole thing, Kayla was the first person I called. She screamed so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. Oh my God, Jazz, you're getting married. This is amazing. Can I be your maid of honor? Please, please, please. Of course I said yes. Who else would it be? She was my sister, my best friend, the person I trusted most in the world after Derek. Looking back now, that was my biggest mistake. Planning a wedding is supposed to be exciting, right? Stressful, sure, but exciting. And it was. For a while, Kayla threw herself into her maid of honor duties. She came to every dress fitting. She helped me address invitations. She organized my bachelorette party. She was the perfect sister. Derek seemed stressed sometimes, but I figured that was normal. Planning a wedding is expensive. He worked in finance, lots of pressure, long hours. Babe, you seem distracted lately, I'd say. Just work stuff, he'd reply. Nothing to worry about. Looking back, there were signs. Little things I dismissed because I trusted him. Trusted her. His phone face down all the time. Coming home later than usual. Client dinners. Team meetings. Kayla asking weird questions. Does Derek usually work on Saturdays? Has Derek mentioned any friends named? Never mind, forget it. But I didn't see it. How could I? You don't look for betrayal in the two people you trust most. Until the night I found out. It was 2 a.m., 3 months before my wedding. I woke up and Derek wasn't in bed. Again. I found him in the living room, sitting in the dark, typing on his phone. The screen illuminated his guilty face. Who are you texting at 2 in the morning? I asked. He jumped like I'd fired a gun. Jesus, Jazz, you scared me. Who are you texting, Derek? Nobody, work stuff. At 2 a.m.? He stood up, trying to block me from seeing his phone. And that's when I knew. I just knew. Let me see your phone. Jazz, come on. Let me see your phone. The look on his face told me everything. But I needed proof. I grabbed the phone from his hand. He tried to stop me, but I was faster. The contact was saved as just a letter, K. And the messages, God, the messages. I'm not going to tell you what they said, not yet, because what I read in those messages, it wasn't just about Derek. It was about someone else, someone I never ever would have suspected. I scrolled through months of conversations, hundreds of messages, and with each one my entire world shattered a little more. I looked up at Derek. He was crying. "Jazz, I can explain." "Who is Kay?" I asked. My voice sounded dead, even to my own ears. He didn't answer. "Who is Kay, Derek?" And when he told me, when he said that name out loud, I literally fell to my knees. Because Kay wasn't just anyone. Kay was someone who'd been in my house, in my life. Someone I'd trusted with my deepest secrets. Someone who'd stood next to me and smiled while lying straight to my face. I'm not going to tell you who Kay is yet. You'll find out. But right now, I need you to understand the rage I felt. The absolute soul-destroying rage. I called Kay immediately. 2:30 in the morning. Kay answered on the third ring, voice sleepy. "Jazz, what's wrong?" And I said the words that changed everything. "I know about you and Derek. I know everything." Silence, then stammering. Excuses, apologies that meant nothing. But here's what Kay said that I'll never forget. "I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. But Jazz, I love him." 4 words that destroyed everything. "You love him." I didn't want to, but I do. I hung up. Then I called off my wedding. The next 3 weeks were the worst of my life. I had to cancel everything. Venue, caterer, photographer, flowers. Do you know how humiliating it is to call vendors and say, "The wedding's off because my fiancé was cheating"? I had to return gifts, write notes explaining why there wouldn't be a wedding. I had to tell my family, my friends, watch their faces shift from confusion to horror to pity when I explained what happened. And through it all, Kay kept calling, texting, begging for forgiveness. "Jazz, please. You're my—" I blocked the number before Kay could finish that sentence. Derek moved out. I threw myself into work and therapy, and slowly, so slowly I started to heal. Until 8 months later, when I got a text from my mother that made my blood run cold. Kay just got engaged. At first I thought it was a joke. Then my mother sent me a photo. There they were. Kay and Derek, smiling, showing off an engagement ring. The social media caption, "He said yes. I can't wait to marry my best friend." I stared at that photo for a long time, and something inside me shifted. I'd spent 8 months healing, forgiving, trying to move on. But seeing them engaged, after what they'd done to me, all that healing evaporated. All that forgiveness turned to ice-cold fury. And when the wedding invitation arrived in my mailbox 2 weeks later, cream cardstock, elegant calligraphy, a handwritten note asking me to please come and be happy for them, I made a decision. I was going to that wedding, and I was bringing a gift they'd never forget. I want to tell you what I did next, the plan I put together, the weapon I created. But I'm not going to tell you yet, because I need you to understand something first. What Kay did to me wasn't just betrayal. It was calculated, deliberate, cruel. And what I was about to do at that wedding, it wasn't just revenge. It was justice. So keep watching, because the next part of this story, it's where I stop being the victim and start being the villain, or the hero, depending on how you look at it. The moment I decided to attend Kay's wedding, I knew I needed to be smart. I couldn't just show up and cause a scene. That would make me look crazy, bitter, like I couldn't move on. No, I needed to do this perfectly, calculated, with proof so undeniable that nobody could question what Kay and Derek had done. So I hired a private investigator. His name was Marcus, former detective, 40-something, professional, and discreet. "What do you need?" he asked when we met at a coffee shop. "Evidence," I said. "Video evidence, if possible, of the affair, with dates. Proof that can't be denied." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You already know about the affair, right?" "What do you need the evidence for?" I smiled. "Let's just say I'm planning a very special wedding gift." He studied me for a moment, then nodded slowly. "I can work with that." Over the next 3 months, Marcus dug into Kay and Derek's history. He found old social media posts that Kay had deleted, screenshots of conversations, photos with metadata showing dates and times during my engagement. But the real goldmine? He found something I never expected. Kay kept a video diary, Marcus told me one afternoon, showing me his laptop. A what? A private YouTube channel. Video diary entries. Kay was filming confessions about the affair. He clicked play and there it was. Kay sitting in a bedroom I recognized immediately, talking to the camera, crying, confessing. The date stamp on the video was during my engagement. I did something terrible today, Kay said on screen. I slept with Derek again. Jazz was at work and he texted me and I couldn't stop myself. God, I'm such a horrible person. Kay wiped away tears. I love my sister. Wait, did you catch that? Did you catch who Kay is? If you figured it out, comment I knew it below. If you're still in shock, comment no way. Because yes, K stands for Kayla. My little sister. My maid of honor. My best friend. She'd been sleeping with my fiancé for 6 months while helping me plan my wedding. That video diary entry was just the first of 17. 17 videos of my little sister confessing to the affair, talking about how guilty she felt, how much she loved Derek, how she knew it would destroy me if I found out, but how she couldn't stop herself. In one video, dated 2 weeks before my wedding was supposed to happen, Kayla said, Derek told me today that after the wedding, after things settle down, he's going to leave Jazz. He's going to choose me. I know I should feel bad, but I'm so happy. I've never felt like this before. Watching those videos, I felt nothing. No tears, no anger. Just cold, clear determination. Can you compile these? I asked Marcus. Edit them into one video? With dates clearly visible? Make it professional. Timeline format. Her own words condemning her. Marcus smiled slightly. I can do better than that. I can make it devastating. How much? For this? Marcus closed his laptop. Consider it pro bono. I have 3 sisters. What yours did? She deserves everything you're about to do to her. Over the next month, Marcus and I created the perfect video. 12 minutes long. It opened with Kayla's own video diary entries. Her confessing to sleeping with Derek during my engagement. Her talking about how I had no idea. Her discussing how Derek promised to leave me. Then screenshots of their text messages, dated, time-stamped, explicit. Then photos they'd taken together. Some I recognized from Instagram. But with dates that proved they were already together while I was still with Derek. Everything was there. Undeniable, damning. At the end, one title card. This is what betrayal looks like. When I watched the final cut, I felt satisfied. Calm. This wasn't just revenge. This was accountability. I RSVP'd yes to Kayla's wedding. My mother cried with relief. Jazz, I'm so glad you're healing. This means everything to your sister. I'm sure it did. I bought a stunning red dress, did my hair and makeup professionally. I wanted to look powerful. Then I contacted the wedding venue's event coordinator. Hi, I'm Jasmine, the bride's sister. I'm preparing a special video tribute for the reception. A surprise for Kayla and Derek. Can your AV system play a video during the toasts? Of course, the coordinator gushed. How sweet. Yes, just send us the file and we'll load it up. When do you want it played? After the father of the bride toast, I said. I'll signal you when I'm ready. Perfect. Your sister is so lucky to have you. She has no idea, I said truthfully. I sent the video file labeled Wedding Tribute Demp 4, with strict instructions not to preview it or show it to anyone. The trap was set. Kayla called me 5 days before the wedding, crying happy tears. Jazz, thank you so much for coming. I know this hasn't been easy for you. Kayla, you're my sister, I said warmly. I want you to be happy. You're the best sister in the world. I don't deserve you. You're right, I thought. But out loud I said, I love you. I love you too, she sobbed. She had no idea what was coming. The night before the wedding, I laid out my red dress, checked my makeup, and felt nothing but calm determination. Tomorrow, Kayla would marry Derek. Tomorrow, they'd celebrate their love story. Tomorrow, in front of 200 guests, I'd show everyone the truth. And their perfect day would become a nightmare they'd never forget. Kayla's wedding was beautiful, I'll give her that. Garden ceremony. Perfect weather. String quartet. Flowers everywhere. I sat in the back row, red dress standing out among the pastels, watching my baby sister walk down the aisle toward my ex-fiancé. When Kayla saw me in the audience, she started crying and mouthed, "Thank you." I smiled and gave a small wave. The ceremony was everything a wedding should be: vows, rings, kiss, applause. And through it all, I sat patiently, the USB drive in my purse feeling like it weighed 100 pounds. Just a few more hours, I told myself. The reception was held in an elegant ballroom. 200 guests, open bar, live band. My parents had spent a fortune. I sat near the back, making small talk with distant cousins. Sipping champagne, watching the clock. Dinner was served. Speeches began. The best man gave a funny toast about Derek's bachelor party. The maid of honor gave an emotional speech about how Kayla and Derek were destiny. I sat quietly, waiting for my moment. Then my father stood for the father of the bride toast. He talked about watching Kayla grow up, how proud he was, how happy he was she'd found Derek. And I want to thank Jasmine, my father said, looking directly at me, for being here today, for supporting her sister despite everything that happened. That takes real grace. Everyone turned to look at me. I raised my glass and smiled. When my father sat down, the MC prepared to transition to dancing. That's when I stood up. "Excuse me," I said, my voice clear and confident. "Could I have the microphone for just a moment?" The MC looked confused but handed it over. The room went quiet. 200 faces turned toward me. I walked to the front, my heels clicking on the marble floor. Kayla's face went from confused to concerned. Derek looked like he might be sick. "Hi, everyone," I said, smiling. "I'm Jasmine, Kayla's older sister." Some people nodded politely. Kayla asked me to be here today, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world, because I have a very special gift for the bride and groom. I gestured to the AV booth. The coordinator smiled, thinking this was a sweet surprise. "I put together a little video," I said. "A look back at how Kayla and Derek's relationship really started. The real love story. The one nobody knows about." Kayla stood up, her face pale. "Jazz, what are you—" "It'll only take 12 minutes, I said sweetly. "Everyone, please watch the screen." I nodded to the AV coordinator. The lights dimmed. The projection screen lit up, and my video began to play. The first image that appeared was Kayla's face from her video diary. On screen, my sister said, "I slept with Derek again today." Jazz was at work. "I know this is wrong, but I can't stop. I think I'm in love with him." The date stamp was visible during my engagement. The room erupted. Gasps, shouts. My mother screamed. More diary entries played. Kayla confessing to the affair, talking about how I had no idea. How Derek was going to leave Jazz after the wedding. Then the text messages appeared. Derek to Kayla. "Jazz is working late. Come over." Kayla to Derek. "What if she finds out?" Derek to Kayla. "She won't. She trusts us." People were standing now, yelling. Some were crying. Derek tried to rush the AV booth, but guests blocked him. My father looked like he might have a heart attack. My mother was sobbing. The video continued relentlessly. 12 minutes of undeniable proof. And I stood there, calm, watching their perfect day implode. When the video ended and the lights came up, the room was pure chaos. My mother was screaming at Kayla, "You were her maid of honor! How could you?" My father looked at Derek with pure hatred. Get out of my sight." Derek's parents were horrified, trying to apologize to mine. Guests were leaving. Some were crying. Others were recording on their phones. And Kayla was on the floor in her white dress, sobbing hysterically, mascara streaking down her face. She looked up at me. "Jazz, please, I'm so sorry." "Sorry?" I said, my voice cutting through the chaos. I still had the microphone. "You're sorry now? After you invited me to celebrate the relationship you built on my pain?" The room went silent. "You wanted me here," I continued. "You wanted my forgiveness, my blessing. You wanted me to smile and pretend everything was okay, that you didn't destroy me." I looked around at all 200 guests. "So here's my wedding gift, the truth. Now everyone knows exactly who you are, what you both are, and they'll never forget it." I dropped the microphone. The sound echoed through the speakers. Then I turned and walked out of that ballroom, head high, leaving behind the ruins of their wedding day. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt free. I drove home in silence. My phone started ringing before I even got there. 30 calls from my mother, 20 from my father. Hundreds of messages from friends, relatives, people I hadn't spoken to in years. I turned it off and went home. I changed out of my red dress, poured a glass of wine, and sat in peaceful silence. Around midnight, there was a knock at my door. It was my mother. Her eyes were swollen from crying. "Can I come in?" We sat in my living room. She didn't speak for a long time. Finally, "I owe you an apology." "Mom!" "No, let me finish." She looked at me with devastated eyes. "I knew what Kayla did to you was wrong, but I didn't know it was that bad. The affair during your engagement, the lies, everything. I pushed you to forgive her, to move on, to come to the wedding. I failed you as a mother." "What happened after I left?" I asked. "Complete disaster. The reception ended immediately. Half the guests left. Derek's family left. Your father and I tried to calm Kayla down, but she was hysterical." "And Derek?" "His best man took him away. I don't think their marriage is going to last the week." Good, I thought. By the next morning, The video had gone viral. Multiple guests had recorded it on their phones and posted it online. Sister exposes bride's affair at wedding reception. Within 48 hours, millions of people had seen it. The internet was divided. Some people called me a hero. Others called me cruel and petty. One comment said, "She destroyed her own sister's wedding. That's unforgivable." Another replied, "Her sister destroyed her wedding first. This is just karma." I didn't care what strangers thought. I'd done what I needed to do. 3 days after the wedding, Kayla appeared at my door. She looked destroyed. Unwashed hair, swollen eyes, sweatpants. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly. Part of me wanted to slam the door, but I let her in. We sat on my couch. She cried. I waited. "Derek left me," she finally said. "He filed for annulment yesterday. He said he can't handle everyone knowing what we did." "I'm sorry," I said. Part of me even meant it. "No, you're not," Kayla said, looking at me. "You planned this. You came to my wedding specifically to destroy it." "Yes," I said simply. "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Why not just refuse to come? Why humiliate me publicly like that?" I leaned forward. "Because you invited me, Kayla. You looked me in the eye and asked me to celebrate the relationship you built by betraying me. You wanted my blessing. You wanted me to pretend everything was fine. That you didn't sleep with my fiancé while helping me plan my wedding. That you didn't lie to my face for 6 months. I paused, so I gave you what you wanted. I came to your wedding, and I gave you a gift you'll never forget. The truth." Kayla's face crumpled. "I lost everything. Derek's gone. Mom and Dad barely speak to me. All our relatives think I'm a monster. I can't show my face anywhere. You should have thought about that before you slept with my fiancé." "I know," she shouted. "I know it was wrong. But Jazz, I was so jealous of you." I blinked. "What?" "You were always the perfect one," she said, tears streaming. "Perfect grades, perfect career, perfect life, perfect fiancé. And I was just me, always in your shadow, always second best." She looked at me with desperate eyes. When Derek started paying attention to me, for the first time in my life, I felt special. Like I was the chosen one, not you, me. "So you destroyed my life because you were jealous?" "I didn't mean to destroy your life," Kayla sobbed. I thought Derek and I would be together after, that it would work out, that eventually you'd understand." "Understand?" I stood up. "Kayla, you were my sister, my best friend, my maid of honor, and you threw all of that away for a man who was cheating on his fiancée. Did you really think he'd be faithful to you?" She said nothing. "You wanted what I had so badly that you stole it," I continued. "And now you have nothing. Not Derek, not me, not our family's respect, nothing. There's something else you should know," I said quietly. Kayla looked up. "What?" "Derek contacted me yesterday." Her face went white. "What?" "He called me, crying, begging for forgiveness, saying he made the biggest mistake of his life." "What did you say?" "I told him to lose my number and never contact me again." Kayla's expression was unreadable. "But then I got curious," I continued. "So I did some digging, called some of his friends. And you know what I found out?" "What?" "You weren't the first affair, Kayla. Derek cheated on his college girlfriend. He cheated on the girl before me. And according to his best man, he was already messaging another woman 2 weeks before your wedding." Kayla's face went from white to green. "You didn't steal a faithful man from me," I said. "You stole a serial cheater. And you destroyed our relationship for someone who was never going to be faithful to either of us." She started sobbing again. "So yeah," I said. "I destroyed your wedding. But you destroyed your own life. I just made sure everyone knew about it. That was 6 months ago." Kayla moved to another state. We haven't spoken since that day in my apartment. My parents are slowly rebuilding their relationship with her. But it'll never be the same. Derek apparently moved to another city too. I heard he's engaged again. Poor girl has no idea what she's in for. As for me, I'm dating someone new, someone kind, someone honest, someone who's never even met my family, which is honestly a relief. I started a new job, got a promotion, bought a new apartment, and I sleep peacefully at night, knowing that I stood up for myself in the most public way possible. People ask me if I regret it, destroying my sister's wedding, exposing her publicly, humiliating her in front of 200 people. And my answer is always the same: no. Would I have preferred that she never betrayed me in the first place? Obviously. Would I have preferred that she didn't sleep with my fiancé while pretending to be my best friend? Absolutely. But she made her choice, and I made mine. She chose to betray me in the shadows. I chose to expose her in the light, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So here's what I want to know from you. If you were in my position, would you have done the same thing? Comment yes or no below. If you think Kayla got what she deserved, comment karma. If you think I went too far, comment too much. And if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely, comment I've been there. Share this story with anyone who needs to hear it. Sometimes people need to be reminded that betrayal has consequences. My name is Jasmine. I'm 39 years old. My little sister slept with my fiancé for 6 months while she was my maid of honor. A year later, she invited me to her wedding. So I showed up in a red dress and played a 12-minute video that destroyed their marriage before it could even begin. And I don't regret a single second of it. Thank you for listening to my confession.